You know, Brother Ryan was just talking about something about blackness. Look upon the water that's behind you. Look upon the water. And you know, the Spirit of God moved and hovered over the water. And all living things came forward from the water that he created. We got to learn to understand that. We got to understand that our Lord Savior Jesus Christ had a life, had a childhood life. And we got to understand that this was a being that wasn't from this world, that had supernatural powers to do supernatural things. And it's reflected upon the creation just by looking upon that water there and the beauty that it displays, the peace and calm that it brings. Jesus had a childhood and never was no baby, never was no little child. Not once was he a little infant child. He might have been an infant in the form of a human being. But the same spirit that hovered over that water was the same spirit that moved upon Mary. And that spirit was the Spirit. So therefore it wasn't like it was something that was immature. It was mature as a God could be. So when we understand that Mary and Joseph had to have a very, very strange relationship with a child with such power. And it's an in-depth story. But these stories can't really be told because of the borrowing of different theologies and mythologies of religion. Somewhere entrapped within there is all men, including the black man, that seem to be so excluded from basically any, every, and all things. Sometimes it comes into our minds a question, but then the relevance of a dollar bill kind of change and sway things to people that scholars will not have a realistic discussion. If I go into a pulpit and I decide to preach on Jesus' life as a child, based upon literature that was removed from the King James Version when it was revised, and they're called the lost books of the Bible. If I go in and attempt to explain some of the very strange powers that this young kid was displaying, and therefore I would be rushed off of the pulpit, and I can't talk about this because of their beliefs and how they want to keep everything down to a certain degree. But Jesus had a very unique childhood. Now can you imagine when it thundered and shake the ground? This kind of power was in this kind of little kid. And he was passing judgment as a child. So therefore, they had to construct the temple. It was King Solomon's temple. It was the temple that was to be built by David. And that's why they had the holiest of holies in the sanctum sanctorum. That's why it said the Lord had entered thereof. That's because he was inside them. But they don't want you to discuss this. They don't want you to know that Mary was raised in that same temple as a little girl from the age of 3. And that she was fed by the angels every day. That's why she wasn't disturbed when G.B.R came in all his glory and charade. They don't want you to know these things because they want to keep it simple so that they can sustain control. We're talking about the psychological enslavement of the human mind, of the way we think. You see, so he said, let him that reads understand. And somewhere in the quagmire of it all, we'll find ourselves hunting peace and tranquility, the same as this water here. Because God is a divine God. He's with each and every individual person, every human being. You have a gift, I have a gift. And all we got to do is let this little gift come out in us. That's all we got to do, Brother Ryan.